Microsoft and later the operating system Windows took off, making Gates America's youngest billionaire.
He's rich, he's brilliant, he's out of his mind.
Bill Gates, who co-founded Microsoft, is now worth an estimated $124 billion.
Mr. Bill Gates.
Gates, America's richest person.
$6.3 billion.
He's worth $40 billion.
$100 billion.
Hello, I'm Bill Gates. In this video, you're going to see the future. When I started Microsoft, I didn't think of it as all that risky. I mean, I was so excited about what we were doing. It's true I could have gone bankrupt, but I had a set of skills that were highly employable. And in fact, my parents were still willing to let me go back to Harvard and finish my education if I wanted to. The thing that was scary to me wasn't quitting and starting the company. It was when I started hiring my friends and they expected to be paid. Quite a bit of the time I thought I'd be a mathematician or a scientist. It was only when I got to Harvard that I started to think of this sort of all-absorbing hobby I'd had, computer stuff, which I just thought, okay, I got to get rid of this, and decided to do something serious. I started to realize, this is pretty serious, and it's actually more interesting and more impactful than going and trying to come up with a new theory in math or anything else. And so I had that dilemma for a couple of years, but eventually decided that computers really was a great thing to be involved with. Now, my Microsoft work was when I was very young. I started when I was 17, and that was my primary focus until I was 53 when I made the transition. And for the early part of that, I was kind of maniacal. I wasn't married, no kids, I didn't believe in weekends. Until I was about 30, I didn't believe in vacations at all. The idea that a young person can start a company here is a super nice thing, because although people at first are skeptical, as soon as they realize their normal model of what I knew and what I could do, that I didn't fit that normal model, then they assumed I knew way more than I did, and I could solve all sorts of problems I had no clue how to solve. But it was nice that people were kind of agog that we had built this company and done these things from a young age. So I think the culture of America, that almost the American dream type success story, worked out. And then not being in Silicon Valley, but not being far from Silicon Valley, that ended up, I think, working for the company in a great way. They knew I was obsessed with computers, that I would skip athletics, that I'd go in overnight, that I'd leave the house sometimes when they prefer I wouldn't go work at night on these things. And so it was kind of considered a little strange. And the big moment was when I said, instead of going to part of my senior year, that I wanted to go work for a company writing software. For some people, that youth and geekiness was like, hey, should we trust them? That's so weird. We've never seen something like that before. So yes, we had to fight for acceptance. I couldn't rent cars, so I had to take cabs around because I was too young, and probably some people were a little tough. But then as we got a little bit of success, people were fascinated by this deep belief we had in software. It's an incredible time to be a learner. I remember when I was young, I had the World Book, which is one of Warren's products, and it was very good. But I always felt like, God, I want to get into this in more depth. I want to understand it better. Today, the videos that are online and the courses that you can buy with the very best professors, it's phenomenal. Take a subject like weather or climate change, or what's going on in economics, what's known, what's not known. Now with the foundation, a lot of what I need to learn is about biology, making vaccines, and what's going on with these various diseases. This is a phenomenal time to be a curious person. The information that's out there, I have my biggest problem is that I stay up too late because I'm reading and then I'm a little bit tired the next day. I'm a weird dropout because I take college courses all the time. I love learning company courses and things, so I loved being a student. And there were smart people around, and they fed you, and they gave you these nice grades that made you feel smart. So I feel it was unfortunate that I didn't get to stay there. But I don't think I missed any knowledge because, you know, whatever I needed to learn, I was still in a learning mode. I was a true fanatic. You know, all I believed in was working on software night and day, and for my 20s that was perfect. I didn't have a wife or family at all, and my role was very hands-on role. You know, I'm very lucky that my foundation work, the part-time work I do for Microsoft, I see that extending, you know, for decades into the future, and having an understanding of innovation, you know, I think shaping innovation in many of these areas, there is a unique role that I can help play. If some friend had tried to call me, you know, I wouldn't have had too much time for that. I was really into building this company, and I was going out and telling people about the magic of software, which was good for Microsoft, but also helping them understand the opportunities and the huge change agent that software and eventually software plus the internet would become. So I was having fun, it was amazing, but I always thought, hey, you know, we're one step away from not, you know, leading here. We gotta keep doing better. Well, the thing that you're likely to be world class at is whatever you obsessed over from, say, age 12 to 18. You know, in my case, it was writing software, where I would think I was good, and then I would meet somebody who would tell me I wasn't, and I would look at their code, and I went through 4 sort of comeuppances of, oh, that's what a really good programmer looks like. My first car that I owned was a Porsche 911. It was used, but it was an incredible car, and that was actually when I was down in Albuquerque, and sometimes when I would want to think at night, I'd just go out and drive around at high speed. Fortunately, I didn't kill myself doing that. My calendar gets very full with those, and then at night, after the kids have gone to bed, I'm on email a great deal. I get messages during the day, that's my chance to give long responses, and then over the weekend, I send a lot of mail as well. I take 2 weeks a year to just go off and read and think, where I'm not interrupted by work or anything else. I'm just solidly trying to think about the future, and people get to send me things to read as part of that so-called Think Week. So it's a nice mix of things. About 25% of the time then I'm out traveling around, meeting with customers, Europe, Asia, and that sort of helps me think, okay, do we have the right priorities? What are people responding well to, and what would they like to see us do better?